Welcome everyone to Manifestation TV. On today's episode, we have the most fabulous glowing over there, Fabiola Giordani, brand and business coach. I feel like I want to say to the stars because you look so fabulous today. You always look fabulous, but particularly today, I feel like saying to the stars, or people who will one day be stars. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to give it over to you to tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and what your journey has been to becoming the business and brand strategist that you are today.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be here. And I love that you said that, the stars. I've always wanted to be brand and business coach to the stars, but
it just has a good ring to it. I don't know why. It's like fitting for you.
I should totally own that. I'm going to take it.
You should totally own it because your clients are stars or are on their way to being stars.
That is very true. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. So for those of you who don't know me, I am the owner and founder of Fabiola Giordani International at fabiolagiordani.com. And what I do is I help women entrepreneurs basically package their brilliance and sell it online. So from e-courses to programs to one-on-one coaching services, my clients range from, coaches to designers and creatives who really just want to get out there and make an impact. Actually, it's funny that you asked me about my story. When I started, it was just creatives only. And then what I found was that the common ground for my clients was that they had a mindset of wanting to help others in a way that's for-profit and nonprofit. And all of my clients actually are on their way to build nonprofit businesses, which is my degree. Like the degree that I went to university for was in nonprofit management. So I thought that I attracted all these amazing women who want to do that kind of work too.
Oh, I love hearing that because that's kind of a beautiful example of, and I think entrepreneurs will agree with this, is that when you start aligning with your path, like these unconscious things, you didn't know you would end up maybe doing this and that the nonprofit thing would be part of it. Yes. So what an incredible way to use your skills. Same for me. I was like, I didn't know how marketing and therapy and all of that was going to end up together. And it did when you start clicking into the alignment.
True. And I love that you said that because at first I was like, man, I just got a degree that's going to collect dust because my business had nothing to do with it. And it just unfolded for me. I never told people that I actually have that degree until they started talking about, once I get my business to this certain level, I really want to open up a nonprofit or I want to start giving back to this particular organization. How do I do that? And I was giving them advice on that. And they're like, oh, you know this stuff? I'm like, yeah, that's actually what I learned. So that was pretty cool.
That is really, really cool. And that's like a beautiful, thought about manifestation because the more of yourself that you embrace, like we start off in business thinking, I'm going to project what I want, what I think people want to learn from me, what I think people, what kind of like image I think I want to portray or I think people will buy from. And that doesn't work.
Very true. And I think that's all just owning up to who you are and where you want to go. I feel like that my business is 100% online and all my clients, they come to me to be online. So I think it's like the online space is kind of crowded and not that it's going to limit you from getting your success, but I feel like when you see someone in your news feed and you're like, oh my gosh, they're doing this and that's where I want to go. And unconsciously you start picking up those things, even though that's not something you really want to do. You're like, I really don't care about this. But even if you're not trying to copy, just you suck it in because you're around that. And what I found that helped me and my clients has been to just step away from it for a little bit, like really deciding and understanding what you really want and who you really want to help. And that has worked for me to help me like really attract the people that I really am passionate about helping.
And that's an ongoing process. Like we have to keep reining ourselves back in because there is so much information online. So I love that you pointed that out. What's your thoughts on the big break when people see you and think, oh, she's made it. And, how am I going to make it? I'll have this big break moment where like, I'll have this massive launch and then I'll have made it and that'll be it.
The big break is 10,000 hours worth of work before that happened, or 10 years, however you want to.
Reality check.
Right. And it's like, I know that there are people out there saying, you know, I just woke up one day, I hired a coach, and magic happened. And magic does happen when you put in the work, when you actually, it's not whether you hire a coach or not, you need to do the work. It doesn't matter who you hire, how many thousands of dollars do you throw at a problem. If you don't do the work, it's not going to happen. And for me, my big break came when I was turning 28. I actually was looking through my videos because my phone, I got the highest like memory on iPhone. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, you have no more memory. And I was like, what? So I went back and I was looking at some of the recordings. I made a recording to myself on the beach on my 28th birthday saying, hey, Fab, this is where you're going to be when you turn 30. I'm actually turning 31 soon. And I was like, oh my gosh, can you believe all these things I said to myself? And it all happened. But it was because when I started my entrepreneurship journey, I dabbled. I just experimented and learned as much as I could and did what I had to do. But the key was I took action. And so for me, my big break came when I was turning 28. It started creeping slowly where I was not getting any sleep, waking up at 3 a.m. And they say that's the time that God wakes you up to talk to you. And finally, I was like, God, what do you want? Like, why can't I sleep? Because I used to have a 9 to 5. And then I was like, I just need to go to work. Like, let me get some energy to go to work. And I started praying and listening to my what he had to tell me. And it was like, you're meant for more. And I used to wake up in like cold sweat in the night. Like, I just want to be extraordinary. And my husband was like, you know what you got to do. And that came into like doing that. But for me, the big break came from hours and hours, like things that I couldn't afford. I learned how to do myself. If I couldn't figure it out, I paid someone to learn it. So for me, the big break comes when you decide that you're ready for the change that you seek.
I love your convos with God. That is like beautiful. And deciding that you can decide whenever your big break's going to be.
Yes.
You get to declare that and make it happen. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that you create or co-create, right? With your source, with God, with your universe, whatever, you connect to. That's really huge. And the conversations are really important because you get to a point where if it's not showing up, where your manifestations are not showing up, you need to dig deeper. Like if you're manifesting and you haven't dug deeper, that's very odd to me. Mm-hmm. It's odd to me that you'd be able to manifest if you haven't really had those like dark times, because usually there's a transformation that has to happen or like a really big breakthrough to get to that place.
Yeah, very true. And I think people think that it's just one bad thing's gonna happen in magic. And
yeah,
I've had several things that happen and I was like, what is happening? So people don't know this because I actually don't share it, but when exclusive, when I quit my job, my husband, he's a truck driver and he quit his job too. And he quit because he wanted to work locally and he was just tired of being away from us for months. And so he thought, I'm a seasoned truck driver. I'm going to get a job. And I'm glad he's very great with money. And we didn't have to but it was scary because I just quit my job. I just launched this business. And he thought he was going to get a job in a week. And it turned out to be a month later. But there are things that happen to you that challenge you to test to see if you're really meant to do what you say you want to do. It's like you said, God, the universe, they want to make sure that you're really in it for the long haul. And things like when you're like, I got to pay my light bill and there's no clients, what do I do? Like, have you been taking the action to get to the results that you want? And so, yeah, that big break comes when you want to really have it happen to you.
I love you talking about this, about the challenges, because usually they come in like a series and people are like, why are all these things happening? It's showing you that you're ready for a big shift. Are you going to take it or not? Are you going to go back into victim mode? Are you going to seek safety from somebody, like using somebody else as leverage? How are you going to approach this to set yourself up for a big breakthrough? Or are you going to keep finding a way to not be the creator of your life?
True.
So if you want a soul journey, become an entrepreneur. If you don't. Just go back to your job. It's not worth it.
There's a live the other day about that. I was like, listen, if you're not ready to actually face those challenges, I think most people give up when they're this close to the success that they desire because it's so painful. And I've been friends for a while. You've seen my journey. There's way more worse. Even when you're successful, you're still being challenged to go to the next level. So if you are really not in it to get that work done, then just quit. And it's okay. You can come back to it later. That's the beauty of entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But just know going in that, there are ways, and there are people who are not doing the transformations, and they're going to keep coming up with the same hurdles. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You have no idea. There's people who are just running it like a machine, and they're going to keep experiencing other things. Maybe money is not their block. They might have other blocks where they have like clients who don't pay, or they have hiring and firing, where they keep hiring and firing people, or they have betrayal in their personal life, or that you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So don't assume. Do you have are you a manifester? Are you good at manifesting?
I am good and bad.
Okay. So tell us like what happens when you manifest something bad, and tell us what the process is for you for manifesting really cool or good things.
For me, manifesting something bad has always been when I started having negative thoughts. And we're human, it's going to happen. So don't think like, oh, it's going to magically go away. Like, those things do not. It's a constant work. So when I don't do my affirmations, when I don't pray and I start thinking negative things, things happen. I don't know. I'm sure I manifested plenty of things like breakups where I start thinking about, assuming what the other person's thinking instead of communicating. That's why I'm a huge talker. You can ask my husband, I talk all day. I want to make sure we're on the same page. I've manifested job losses and job gains. But one thing I thought that was funny I want to share with you is I manifested a flat tire. So I was moving to this area and I'm so excited and took the day off, and I picked up my daughter, and I had a car full of stuff and my kid, and they were doing construction near my old job. Like, I can clearly see it. It was the building here, and I'm on the highway. And I drove by the day before, and I said, I wonder what would happen if I had a flat tire. So the next day, car loaded, kid in the back.
No.
I had a flat tire, and it's a nail right where I actually had that thought, because we were in traffic. So we weren't moving, so I remember exactly. I was like, didn't I just say this to myself yesterday? And that's when I'm messing with this. I am no longer, because before you start learning about this stuff, you think, oh, it's okay to say your mouth and your mind is very powerful. So be careful what you think and be careful what you say. And I actually said that to myself, and it happened. From that day on, I'm like, I need to chill out and just really start thinking happy thoughts. And so what I started doing was listening to things in the car, like positive things or music, things to keep me occupied so I won't have to, or maybe doing my groceries list. I don't know. Things that I've manifested that have been cool has been this business. So, and nobody knows this about me, but I am truly an introvert. So I used to cry when I did YouTube videos, and that's why I think I stopped doing YouTube. And then live stream came about, and I got really comfortable. Some of the cool things I manifested when I first started my business, and still today, is I'll sit there and I say, God, you see my business as it is. Where can I change things? What can I do better? And I want 5 clients today. If I say today, it happens today. If I say tomorrow, it happens tomorrow. Usually I give myself a break so I don't have so much pressure. I'm like, I want 5 new clients this week, or I'm launching this and I want X amount of students. And it usually happens. But I feel like manifestation is, to me, it's both the mindset work and the action that you take. Like, I don't know.
Absolutely. So I do believe that you can, with mindset and nothing else, attract people. I do believe that 100%. Here's the thing. Aligned action makes everything faster. So if you were to sit in your house and just do your mindset work all day long, 12 hours a day, you would attract clients somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow the universe would bring it to you. But the same thing, the thing that's going to happen when you do enough mindset work, as you know, is that you will get the divine action to take. It'll just come to you, and you won't be able to stop yourself. You'll be like, I have to post about this. I have to email this person. I have to put this offer out, because it's coming from an aligned place as opposed to a chasing the money place.
Amen to that. I've actually been feeling that way lately. it's like the uncomfortable nudge to change things, and you're like, no, it's been working. But I think to that, it becomes easier. You don't have to work as hard because, like you said, it's aligned action. It's both what, God wants for you and what you desire, but also that thing that you want to manifest. I've also manifested money, like random money. One birthday, I was like, I just want $1,000 and I don't want to do nothing for it. I manifested it. So I love the power of manifestation, but like you said, I love the aligned action too.
The thing I love about manifestation is that it often shows up in ways that you don't expect.
Yes.
Like you're very powerful. If you're able to be like, I want this, exactly this, and you get exactly that, I think that's extremely powerful. And that's your own special thing. For me, manifestation often shows up in ways I don't expect. Like the last person I thought would work with me reaches out to me. Like someone I had forgotten, I'd done a discovery call with like months ago. That will be the person that pops up. Or like some kind of opportunity I could have never imagined. Like things that are not in my conscious mind show up as manifestation for me. So I think it's really cool that you can be like, hey, I want this exact thing, and it shows up.
I manifest parking spaces too.
Oh, yes. That is key. It's such a nicer way to live than like having to expect yourself to produce everything. Like you're a co-creator, leverage that.
Exactly.
It's much harder to be like, I'm responsible for everything. I have to make everything happen.
Exactly. Lighten your load. But I love how you said that, to be okay with the unexpected. Like your answers will come in different ways. It may not be exactly how you want it. And I feel like that's the issue with most people that I've encountered, is that they just want it their way. The reason why it happens my way, I feel, is because I'm loose with the way it comes to me. I'm like, it's cool, God. Like, just if it's not one-on-one clients and it's courses, cool. I'm okay. Just to make sure that it's something close to what I want. That
means you're a good detective for all the things that are showing up in your life. So you might say like $1,000. You got to say cash, or you got to say credit, or you got to say a client, or you got to say value if you don't care how it shows up, because it could show up as $1,000 credit or two $500 credits. Like you got to be specific, but also loose with how it comes in. So I love that, allowing that flexibility. Do you have a daily practice that keeps you in alignment that you try to stick to?
Yes. So I'm not going to be perfect on this call. I'm just going to keep it real.
No one so far. One person that I've interviewed so far is really diligent, and she's like a yogi. So it's like in her DNA, but everyone else is just, living life too.
Right. So prayer is very important to me, but I wouldn't say struggle, but there are mornings like the kids went back to school. By kids, I mean my daughter, my niece and nephew. And so I have to shuffle people around. So that and I'm diabetic, and there's all the other morning routines, but I try to get it to prayer, even if it's not the beginning of the day. And then affirmations. So I started to listen to affirmations on YouTube. In fact, my journey of mindset work started before I became a life coach and all of that and got certified. It came from me listening to affirmations on YouTube, listening to powerful messages, and, journaling and things like that. So I've gotten back into the practice of journaling with your help, and also with the affirmations. There's this young lady that it's so awesome. It's like 15 minutes of powerful affirmations. I am in love.
And Who is this lady? Tell us, because I love hearing about what new.
Bernadette Logue, I think her name is. And it's something.
Bernadette Logue?
Logue, I think.
Logue.
But if you Google Pinch Me Living Affirmations, you'll be able to find it on YouTube. I love her affirmations. They are incredible.
I love it when you find someone who has the right affirmations, because some of them can be corny and like not up your alley.
Yeah. Like I listened to one about money and I was like, this doesn't sound right. It was really more of a struggle money affirmation. I'm like, I don't want to talk about money in a struggle version. Like they don't go together. This
is a great tip, guys. Affirmations, listening to anything about wealth consciousness, have it on in the background. It's a way of like coercing your thoughts and creating your thoughts in a way that like creates a positive habit in them. Yeah. It's just a habit. You've been thinking a certain way. Your parents have thought a certain way, which caused you to think a certain way. And it's a habit that can be changed. You just have to do the work. So when people are like, oh, well, I'd rather just like do stuff instead of think stuff. I'm like, well, then I guess you don't want to get to that 10K goal that fast. You know, and my coach used to say it to me. I'm like, I don't like tap. I was resistant to it, right? I was resistant to the tapping. I was resistant to the journaling. And she's like, okay, well, then you're resistant to making money. And it was true.
Exactly. I think it's like doing the work is not just in your business. It's also your internal work too, your mindset work. And my friend Kimberly really helped me learn so much more about mindset work, my consciousness, all of that. And that was before like I started this journey, but she was the one who was like, we were at work and she's like, listen to this, it will change your life. And my life was changed. And from then I was like, I will no longer be here. Goodbye. I love Louise Hay. She is my heart. And Dr. Wayne Dyer. And I listened to The Secret, the movie, like on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there, like on replay. So those were the things that jump started me. And I decided to just go back to basics. Like, don't try to do too much, and just started listening to them again. So that's my morning routine. So it's prayer and now exercise and then my affirmations.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Make sure your like temple is full, you know, make sure you're like full on this journey because it takes a lot out of you. So those are great tips. What's your relationship to money been on this journey? Everyone laughs at this part. I love it.
It's good. So it's been great, actually. So in the beginning, I used to be terrible with money. And then the doctor said, you're pregnant. I was like, oh, I got to get my life together. I'm bringing a little life into this world. So it really started getting better when I was pregnant with my daughter. I wanted to be more responsible, and I didn't want to be like you were saying, your money story starts with your parents. I didn't want to be like my parents. Great people, love them, but I wanted something better for my daughter, and I want to create a legacy for her and something she can pass on to her kids. And so that's where it started. Then I started dabbling with entrepreneurship. So my relationship with money has been great. I used to struggle with savings. I used to struggle with paying myself first. And I used to struggle with charging my worth. Because, you know, when people see you at this level, they're like, oh, she got this, you know, she's charging X amount of dollars, so she got this. It used to be a struggle to tell yourself you're worth it. And one thing, I was walking and jogging, and I was thinking, I'm like, man, it's been a really long time since I had to think about what to charge for things. And while there are people struggling, because that's when I get my best ideas when I exercise, I was like, yeah, I really need to teach others what I know. And the reality is, by me charging what I charge, I just realized, because I was getting messages from my team, it helps my clients too, because now I can afford to pay a team to do design work and all that stuff for them. So when you start doubting yourself, when you're like, I shouldn't charge this, or I'm not worthy of buying this new bag, like, you really need to reward yourself. So let me just give you my relationship, I guess. I feel like I'm rambling. But my relationship has been to really own my power and what I've helped people do, and what changes I actually create, and realize that I am valuable. So just as much as I'm pouring value into people, and they're pouring it back to me in the way of money, like I have to eat and all that stuff. So I'm not afraid to charge my worth. And also, personally, I look at my bank account every day. I know there are people who are afraid of that, whether you don't have it or you do have it. When I didn't have it, I would visualize the numbers. Like, I have X amount of dollars in my account, and it's a steady stream of that. Even after I pay my bills, I still have that. And so that's a daily practice that I started. Also, one thing, like there's an app called Mint. So it helps you track, like, you know, people are so afraid of money and talking about it. You got to get in tune with your money. Otherwise, you won't be able to receive it. And Joel Osteen, I learned this from him. He was like, basically, if you don't want to, like, God will not entrust you with something you're not being responsible for. So if you don't know how much money you're bringing in, you don't know how much money is going on the team, if you don't know how much your bills are, and you're not actually checking your money daily, and set reminders for yourself, check your account. That's how I started checking it daily. I did it for 60 days. I started there was a reminder on my phone every day for 60 days saying, hey, after your prayer, go ahead and check your bank accounts and, you know, do some accounting. And it just started helping me build stamina in terms of how I see money, and it's not evil. Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, really good.
Is that when I swipe my card or I buy something, I always say there's plenty more where that came from. And it always comes back.
Oh, beautiful. I love those tips. There's so many juicy bits in there.
Good.
Track your money. You are you're changing your money story by tracking your money. Even if you have no money to currently track, start tracking.
Yep.
Because you're going to attract more reasons to track it.
Yes, exactly.
So focusing on that is really, really huge. You're changing your money story every time you manage your money. So if you've been not great with money, start being great with the money that you have. Really important. I just love that, because what's going to happen if you get 10K tomorrow?
How will you spend it?
How will you spend it? What will you do with it? Is it all going to bills? Well, then you're going to create more bills.
Yep. What you feed, it comes back to you.
So really huge points there. Mint.com, a great tracking device. Love the idea of a blessing every time. I now have this blessing invoice that I send out where I'm like, bless this invoice. May everything that happens, between us, raise our revenue, vibration, everything. So even if you don't write it, just visualize that everything that you send out is coming back to you and blessing all the people that it's reaching and touching. And the idea that a lot of people don't even realize they're struggling with is that they do believe that it's evil. Money's evil, that it's because it's caused them or their families a lot of heartache, or they see people without money and they see how painful it is. For a while there, for me, I struggled with the standard in coaching and how much money it was. It seemed so ridiculous almost. The people were charging these huge amounts. And that was a poverty consciousness on my part. If you can charge, if you feel worthy of, if you feel aligned to, if you bring the results of, charge whatever you're called to charge. That's your thing. That has nothing to do with anybody else. But for me, there was a definite hang up of that seems like a lot of money.
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned that when most of my clients they've been in business for a while and maybe they haven't gotten to where they want to go. And most of the time it's because they're not charging anything, if not pennies. And I'm like, how are you living off of this? And so what I have them do is kind of like a mindset shift with their pricing and scaling and money. Is just scale it up. Start where you're most comfortable, because money loves clarity, money loves action, and money loves alignment. If you are saying I'm $5,000 and you're you're not aligned to it, you're terrified of saying it, you're not going to get it. You may get one person and it could turn out to be a nightmare person. So either way, either you get the money and they become a nightmare, or you don't get the money. So,
well, and if you're naming your price from scarcity, you're going to attract other people in scarcity. Yep. And then it's really hard to work with people who are in poverty consciousness.
Yes.
I've done it. And part of my work is that I will keep doing it because I have a place in my heart for, I keep that open to one or two people, because I have a place in my heart for people who have everything but the money.
Yeah.
And I need it, it's important to me that I give that. But that can't be all your clientele.
No, you have to learn boundaries with your money.
You have to. And if you're a bleeding heart like me, have your one or two spots that you save for the people that are aligned in everything but the money, and you want to help them that way. And you'll learn if that was a good idea or not.
Yeah.
You'll learn if that was the right person or not. But definitely, look at that cycle. And Fabi's amazing at looking at that pricing and packaging stuff. She is your lady for all things business and brand and money. And she brings this beautiful aspect to everything. So what's your one piece of advice as we finish off here? What is your one piece of advice for anyone who is in the struggle to manifest right now?
Be open to change. I think I used to be so resistant to change. It's it's not my way, my way or the highway. So be open to change. Constantly take the inspired action is another thing. Especially when I'm launching. Launching used to be fun, and then it became oh my God, no. So same thing with manifesting. You really have to, once you start doing it and it becomes easier for you, don't try to complicate things. Basically, keep it simple, because then you're going to be like, why is everything I'm manifesting like opposite of what I want? Because it can backfire. Just be open to change. Be ready for it too. So don't ask for things you're not ready for, like that flat tire. or things that you may not be ready for. So if you're like, I want an influx of clients and you have nothing set up for them, I want X amount of students in my program, you haven't recorded one module. These are the type of things that will bring the chaos, when you really want it to be smooth. So, and just be happy doing it. Like, manifesting is fun. Like, you should really, it's like a game, a cool game you play. And as you get more results, you're like, wow, I can really just think and do, and it happens. But yeah, those are my tips for manifesting more in your life.
Beautiful. Love that. And finally, what is your favorite thing to splurge on? What do you love to splurge on once you've manifested your dough?
Starbucks. I get a cup every day, because a long time ago, I used to work for Starbucks and I couldn't barely afford it. And now I can. And so Starbucks, and then I know it's not like luxurious. And then shoes. I do like really pricey shoes that I do not wear because I work from home. So I have a closet full of shoes, and my husband's like, it's kind of getting ridiculous. Why do you buy shoes? I'm like, because I love them so much. So shoes are my splurges.
I love it. So where can the audience join you? What do you have going on? What can they do with you, learn from you, where to find you?
Lots of cool things happening over at FabiolaGiordani.com. That's my baby, my home. And I'm blogging again. I know that I love to write, and so you'll find lots of new content there. And also Facebook. So I've decided to just start keeping things in one place. So you'll find me on my Facebook page, and I do live streams there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You're an absolute delight. Please go check out Fabiola Giordani at FabiolaGiordani.com and on her Facebook page and her Facebook group. Lots of amazing things to share. Just be around her energy, because she's like amazing. Like, why would you not want to do that? And being around people who are good at manifesting, guess what that does for you? You'll learn how to manifest. Thank you so much for your time, darling.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.